Hey guys, Justin here, finally coming at you with the updated room tour that I've been promising for so long now. I really do apologize for taking so long to get this up. It's just, things were so hectic back during the garage sale season. I'd have a pile of games and systems to sort through and put away every week. By the time I got done with that, I have another pile of stuff to deal with. So now that the garage sale season's over, things have finally slowed down a little bit. I've gotten the room organized and looking the way I want it. Finally got the room tour filmed, so here it comes, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so I'm just going to start out with an overview shot of my entire game room here, so you guys can kind of get an idea of where I'm at in my room when I'm showing you everything. But I'm actually going to start all the way over here on the side of the room you guys never really get to see in our videos. This is kind of like my workbench area, I guess you could say. Got a bunch of broken stuff over here, 3 broken NES systems, a broken Xbox that I'm supposed to fix for Ryan. I think I got a broken Atari 7800 down there, and just a box of broken controllers and adapters, and even Castlevania on the NES. And over here is just everything I need to clean my games with. This actually works really nice to take sticker residue off of game boxes, and surprisingly it doesn't damage the game boxes, even though it is in fact lighter fuel. You can trust me on that one. And in here is pretty much any tool you could ever really ask for. My game bit here for taking apart games. A couple posters up here on the wall. We got Pitfall, Sonic 2, an Interplay poster. But as for my games, I'm going to start out by showing my PlayStation 1 collection. I just recently grabbed this shelf from Goodwill. It works great for holding the jewel cases. So up top here we got Lunar, Silver Star Story, complete in box. The soundtrack for Lunar 2, I'm still looking for that game. And I'm just going to skim over all my PS1 games here. See, I have a light, so hopefully you guys can get a better look at these titles. I do have some pretty good PlayStation 1 games, but I also have a lot of crappy PlayStation 1 games, just because, if I see a cheap, complete Black Label PS1 game, I'm probably going to pick it up just to have it for the collection. So we got Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, an anthology there. Coming down here, we got The Legend of Dragoon there. We got Mega Man 8, Mega Man 8 Anniversary Collector's Edition, Mega Man X4, 5, and 6, Metal Gear Solid. Coming down here, we got Parasite Eve. We got Resident Evil 3 Nemesis and Resident Evil Director's Cut there. Riven. Down here on this shelf, I think the winner is probably Tactics Ogre there. That's a pretty good one. And then finally down here on the very bottom shelf, I think the winner is probably Wild Arms 2 down there. These are all in alphabetical order. And I'm kind of running out of room down there, so if I end up getting any more PS1 games, I'm going to have to get myself a new shelf. But I guess that's just the way it goes, right? So up here we got a Lethal Enforcers poster. Back behind there is a Jurassic Park poster. And at the top of this rack here is my Dreamcast games. Now, you'll notice I don't have that many Dreamcast games. They're just so hard to find in the wild up here that I never really buy them. But I do have some pretty good ones. Let's see if I can make note of them. Alone in the Dark there, we got D2. Both Evolution games. Gauntlet Legends. Those orange ones there are actually homebrew games. Got Mortal Kombat Gold, the yellow disc version of that. Power Stone, the first one. Got Shenmue, and my favorite probably is Skies of Arcadia there. Excellent, excellent RPG on the Dreamcast. And then down here just have a couple more games, but hoping to fill that rack with Dreamcast games eventually. Like I said, they're just so hard to find. But on the bottom shelf here is just a lot of odds and ends that don't really fit anywhere else in my room. My PS1 long box games there. A couple of the better ones being Resident Evil and the first Tekken. And my entire original Xbox collection here. I don't collect for the original Xbox, but I do have a few games that I like to play. Those Outlaw series games are absolutely hilarious. Counter-Strike is fun with the System Link, and of course you gotta have some NHL games, right? So over here I got Kingdom Hearts 2, which I received from the Thrift Dwellers. Go check out their channel. Got a PAL PS1 game and a Japanese PS1 game, and a bunch of Japanese Saturn imports here. A couple of Sega CD games that came in the original, the regular jewel cases. Down here on this bookshelf we got my 3DO games. Nothing really special here, mainly because there really wasn't any good games on the 3DO. I guess Gex was a decent game, and it's kind of hard to find in the long box, and that's in really nice condition, so happy to have that one. The only other notable one is probably Street Fighter 2, or Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is actually a really good port of the arcade. It's just really hard on the 3DO. Coming down here on the bottom shelf, some other random odds and ends. a Street Fighter DVD box set there, a couple other DVDs, some VHS tapes. That's where I keep all my notes from I get from other YouTubers and trades and whatnot. And over here is my TurboGrafx collection. So you see, not a whole lot of games. Again, I don't find these in the wild, but got a couple of the Bonk games there, Ninja Spirit. The rest are mostly sports games, except for Pac-Land, but that game sucks. Got a import down there. And as for the TurboGrafx CD, we got Cosmic Fantasy 2 here, which is a Working Designs RPG, which is surprisingly cheap for how exotic that game is. And Fighting Street here, which, yes, that is supposed to be Street Fighter. Lords of the Rising Sun, and the most recent addition to my TurboGrafx CD collection is Sim Earth, which is actually a Super CD game, so I need to play it on my Duo. Haven't tried it out yet, I'll have to get around to that. But anyway, moving all the way up here, this is kind of like my my Sega shelf here, all Sega stuff. So on the very top, we got a couple of my box systems, my 32X Dreamcast there, box Dreamcast controller, some box VMUs, Seaman on the Dreamcast, Virtua Cop box set for the Saturn, Lethal Enforcers for the Sega CD. And then on this first shelf here, we have my my 32X games. Now, I got, see, 4 of the Sega CD 32X games there, which in combination with Fahrenheit down here is actually the entire Sega CD 32X collection. I have all 5 games there. But as for my complete, or my boxed 32X games, really the only notable one I think is probably Knuckles Chaotix there. Still working on this collection, and I do have some loose carts. A couple of them on display over here. Mortal Kombat 2 and T-Mac are probably the better ones that I have there. I don't like to collect loose cart Sega stuff or loose Sega anything really, but 32X games are just so hard to find that, you know, I really have nothing to do with these anyway until I can find them complete. So when I upgrade, I'll do something with those. But here's my Sega CD collection. Again, nothing real special here. I got Final Fight's CD there, which is pretty cool. It's in the cardboard box, so it's kind of beat up, which is a little unfortunate, but I think the other notable Sega CD game that I have is probably Sonic CD there, which I've heard is an excellent game. I just haven't actually played through it yet. We got a cheap Sonic Racing McDonald's toy down there. And then here is my my Sega Saturn collection, which for space reasons I've had to start doubling up the games, so they are all double stacked in there. And I'll just kind of skim over these ones here in the front. We got Resident Evil there, just recently got that in a trade. And Virtual on Cyber Troopers, that's a pretty cool game. And these are all also in alphabetical order, but for the sake of this video, I kind of pulled out a couple of the better ones I have here. Panzer Dragoon, Die Hard Arcade, Earthworm Jim 2, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and I do have a couple other Sega Saturn games that are really expensive that I keep upstairs with the rest of my stuff, so I'll show that at the end of the video for sure. And in here is my Sega Genesis collection. 2 shelves worth, actually. And these are double stacked, but I was able to prop up the games in the back so you can actually read all the titles. So I'll skim over these here. I don't have a whole lot of good Genesis games, unfortunately. A lot of sports games and stuff. The sports games are so easy to find, complete in box, and they're so cheap that I picked them up once, and now I have so many copies of them I don't know what to do with. But we got Michael Jackson's Moonwalker over here. That one's pretty decent. Coming down here, Mortal Kombat's there. A bunch of sports games. Pocahontas there, that was actually kind of expensive, believe it or not. Rock and Roll Racing back there too, that's a kind of expensive game, really good game too. Shinobi 3 there, of course you gotta have the Sonics. Both Toe Jam and Earl's complete in box there. And that's really it for my Genesis collection. So a lot of games, but not a whole lot of good games. Still working on that one as well. And then down here is my Master System collection. Of course you gotta have all the the great sports series games there. And then Rampage down here sticks out like a sore thumb because it's the only off-colored game out of all of them. So that's pretty much it for my Sega shelf there. Moving over here, up on the wall, we got some other posters here. And then coming down here, this is where I have a lot of my systems hooked up, my non-Sega systems anyway. Got a couple AV switchers there. I actually have more than that, but they're hidden in this entertainment system over here. And a couple power strips there. But moving down here, have my my FZ10 3DO that I keep hooked up down here. My PS1 Mini or PS1 Slim over there, which has been getting some action recently. Playing Final Fantasy VII, courtesy of TMD121. Go check out his channel. And then down here, got my Wii here, which I used to play my GameCube games on. you know, it's kind of a pain going through the Wii menu and everything to get to the GameCube games, but it's a lot better than having my actual GameCube taking up a lot more room down here. A couple GameCube games I've been playing recently, so for everyone who thinks I absolutely hate sports games and never play them, there you go, NBA Live 2006, and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Over here I got my N64, my grape-flavored N64, with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 in there. I do have other N64 systems, but this is always just the one I've kept hooked up. And over here is my Model 2 Super Nintendo, the NES top loader there, and obviously I do own the toaster NES systems as well, but that's a space saver right there. And my infamous Turbo Duo, which I finally picked up an official Turbo Duo controller there. Before I was just using the Japanese controllers. We're very glad to have that one. It was like 20 bucks. And then my Halo Edition see-through green Xbox there. I just said I don't collect original Xbox games, but you know I need a system to play the games that I do have, and plus I always need a system to test out the games when I get them. So that's what that's used for. Coming up here, we got Sonic. On top of the speaker here, we got Amy. A couple other posters up there. Down here is my Master System collection, or my Master System rather. And this really doesn't see that much action, which is unfortunate, but you know, I just leave it hooked up anyway. And in this cabinet here, we have my Dreamcast, the Sega Saturn, and on the bottom we have the Model 1 Genesis, Model 1 Sega CD, 32X Super Duper Super Battleship formation there. And all 3 power adapters needed to play that sucker. So, moving up here, we got my Star Wars N64 set there, right in front of, or behind the N64 camera that I snagged from a thrift store. And of course you gotta have a Sony amp here, and shut this light off, but this is the TV that I use here. It is an absolutely ancient Zenith CRT TV. I swear, these are the TVs they used to give away on like Double Dare 2000 for anyone who remembers that TV show. But hey, you know, it works for playing the retro games. I think they look better on here than they do on a flat screen. Ideally, I like to get a big old flat screen up here for like just watching TV and whatnot. But for now, this is what we got up here. All these N64 boxes. You know, you really can't display N64 games that well. They don't have end labels or anything like that. So I think the next best thing is putting them in these display boxes here. So we got 3 official ones there. These are actually knockout boxes over here, but they look similar enough. And believe it or not, every single one of these is full to the max. And unlike my other games, these are not alphabetized because, you know, how much of a pain would that be to go through every time I get a new game and re-alphabetize these. So what I do is basically just keep all the games that I play, all my good ones, in this drawer here on the bottom. So I'll show a few of them. I mean, I got StarCraft there, Mario Party 3, what else we got in here? Harvest Moon, 64, Yoshi's Story, some of the ones over here, Duke Nukem, Doom, Castlevania. There's that Sculptor's Cut that I got in that Craigslist deal. So I pretty much have, you know, all the good games, and they're in here if I don't have them complete in box. So moving down here real quick, turn my light back on. Underneath all the Sega stuff is some of my Atari systems. My Heavy Sixer, Atari 2600 there, and yes, that is actually the Heavy Sixer. It's not just the regular 6-switch. And my Darth Vader Model 4-switch over there. And then down there is like, it's kind of like a storage system for Atari stuff, so I got my controllers and whatnot in there. But moving over here to this drawer, if I can get it open with one hand, is any controller you could really ever ask for. Obviously I keep one controller with the systems over there, but basically all my other controllers are in here, and these are all, you know, first-party controllers. I don't really collect third-party ones, but I try to get all the colors like the N64 controllers, the GameCube controllers, and whatnot. So running out of room in there, so I got to find some extra space for those. And then finally down here in this drawer is just a bunch of odds and ends. A bunch of empty Game Gear boxes there that I'm looking for the games for. A couple other empty boxes. Some Game Genies there. That's one for the Game Boy complete in box. Super Nintendo Game Genie. NES Game Genie back there. Some Game Boy cameras. And just a bunch of cleaning kits and whatnot. Oh, there's a sealed Xbox memory card. I didn't even know I had that. So anyway, moving over here, got my my Mountain Dew mini fridge there that I got from a garage sale for like $7. Awesome find there. And then up here, that orange thing there is what I used as my background when I take pictures, and I keep my my camera stuff up here as well. Now I'm gonna have to put this light down so hopefully it doesn't get too dark, but I have all these plastic containers here full of basically random stuff. In here I have some exotic systems. I don't know if you can see it that well, but I have a FZ1 3DO down there, along with my regular TurboGrafx system in the bottom there, and some, TurboGrafx multi-tap there, some arcade controllers, bunch of TurboGrafx controllers in there. Coming down here, some cool stuff here. I have a Jungle Green N64 that I just recently showed in a video. There's my Pikachu N64 down there, of course with both the matching controllers for those. In here, this is actually my PAL Super Nintendo, which I got in a trade. I think I showed that in the video as well. And some PAL Super Nintendo games here. This drawer, a couple older systems. I got the Bentley CompuVision here, that Pong system that I recently got as an extra in a trade. And my Super Video Arcade, which I got from Goodwill. It's actually a Sears Intellivision that does actually play Intellivision games. So I have a couple Intellivision games here, a couple ColecoVision games back there as well, but I don't have a ColecoVision yet, so still looking out for one of those. Coming down here, we got my Odyssey 2, which I never really play, but my loose cart games there, and I have some box games back there as well. In this drawer is, well, all my Atari 5200 games here, which again don't display well because they don't have end labels, or most of them don't anyway, those ones do. And then my 7800 games back there, and then I also have all my boxed 2600 games in here, along with boxed 5200 Joust there. And here is my Atari drawer, and I have a ton of 2600 games, as you guys can see. I mean, these are stacked in here, 3 on top of each other, and then the bottom is also just lined with games. I think I probably have at least 150 Atari games in there, unique titles. And then finally down here at the bottom is my Atari 7800 on top of my Atari 5200 down there, which I really need to replace. That back flap on my 5200 is broken off, and I had to take it apart and replace it, and I'd just rather have a factory original one. We got the controllers for them there. So coming up here, all my Game Boy games. I don't collect Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance games, so these are all either original gray cartridge Game Boy games, and I have some of the black ones back there. But these are kind of hard to display too, just because they're so small. But I mean, I'll show a few of them. I got Final Fantasy, Kicks, Zelda, Tecmo Bowl, Donkey Kong, Metroid 2. That one's actually kind of expensive. Ninja Gaiden Shadow, Harvest Moon. So that's just a few of them. I'm not going to show all of them, obviously. Maybe I'll do a collection video if you guys want to see that. Let me know. Game Gear games in here. Again, kind of hard to display, but I'll just show a couple of them anyway. And these are actually just all my loose Game Gear carts, because underneath it here I have my box Game Gear games. Nothing real special. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of Game Gear games that were really that valuable, other than maybe, I think Shining Force off the top of my head is the one that I can think of. I'm sure there's a couple more, but and my Game Gear system here in this carrying case, which I think I found at Goodwill actually. It's a nice find there. This drawer here has all of my manuals in it. Obviously, if I have a complete box game, the manual is in the box, but these are all the extra manuals that I have. There's some posters in here as well, a bunch of like Atari catalogs and whatnot. Down here, I have my Nintendo DS stuff. This is my system here. It is the oldest DS system I think you can get, like the original release of it that came with the Metroid Prime Hunters demo in it. Obviously, I kept the box, and I really don't collect for the DS, but I have some games in here that I just kind of held on to. Super Mario DS there. This one's actually really cool. I've been actually playing this one recently. Rune Factory. It's like a fantasy Harvest Moon. It's like a combination of like a Harvest Moon and an RPG, like kind of like a real-time RPG. Got the Guitar Heroes there, which kind of suck on the DS, to be honest. And then my system is in this case here. Coming down here, got all my Game Boy systems. They're kind of hard to show because they're in these cases, all of them, but here's my Pokemon Game Boy there, Game Boy Color. I have one other Atomic Purple Game Boy Color, but I don't really collect the Game Boy Colors. I mainly collect the original Game Boy, and I believe all these have like Game Boy Pockets in them. I think this is, yeah, it's a Game Boy Micro that I showed in the video. And obviously I have the original Game Boy too. And then down here in the last drawer is a ton of Famicom games. So the Japanese NES, and then actually in the back here I have some Super Famicom games, some pretty good ones too. ActRaiser, Romancing Saga, Dragon Quest V is back there, so pretty cool there. So moving over here, it's kind of getting to the portion of the room that you guys are used to seeing in my videos. Up here in the door we have some posters, and then we have my NES shelf here. So let me grab this light again so I can show you guys these games. Again, these are all in alphabetical order here, which is kind of a pain. When I get a new one, you know, I gotta obviously go through and move every game before and after the one that I got, but you know, it's definitely worth it because it seriously had gotten to the point where it would take me 5 minutes to find a game on this shelf. And at least now that they're alphabetized, I can find it whenever I want it. And yeah, it might take me, you know, a minute or two to file a new game when I get it, but it's definitely worth it. So actually, I keep some of my better NES loose cartridges in these plastic cases off to the side, which are kind of hard to display, but we got Battletoads there, Zelda 2, Adventure Island 2, Bubble Bobble, Castlevania 1 and 2, we got Castlevania 3 down here, Dragon Warrior 4, Final Fantasy, Gyromite, and Hogan's Alley with Famicom converters, great cartridge Zelda. Coming down here we got Mega Man 1, 2, and 5. The other ones I have complete in box, I'll show in a second. Metroid Silver Label, Metroid Yellow Label, Might and Magic. And I'll show you guys these loose cartridges here quick. So down here, a couple of the Sesame Street games there. Like I said, I mean, I'm pretty much going for a complete NES collection, so if I see a game for cheap, even if it is, you know, Sesame Street or you know, Barbie or a sports game or whatever, I'll pick it up if I don't have it. We got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out over there, Ninja Gaiden 3, North and South, River City Ransom, Super C, and Wrecking Crew with a Famicom converter. And then down on the last shelf here, I think I have like 450 or just over 450 unique NES games. A couple plushes there, Yoshi and Turtles. And they're not all loose cartridges, obviously I have some complete in box, such as these. Now these are not all my complete in box games down here. These are actually the ones that aren't really in good enough condition, or they're not complete or whatever, to put them in, you know, one of the box protectors and display them, where I'm going to show in a second, which is up here. So there's the rest of my boxed NES games. I might as well show these now. So I got a couple decent ones up here that I'm actually pretty excited about. That Contra there actually isn't in the greatest condition, but it's kind of hard not to display a complete in box Contra, right? And we've got Zelda over there, Mega Man 3 and 4, which are kind of beat up, but that Mega Man 6 that I just recently got complete in box is pretty damn nice. Ren and Stimpy Buckaroos, that one's kind of hard to find. I got the poster and everything in that box. We've got two pretty minty Turtles games there, Turtles 2 and 3. I'm looking out for a good condition Turtles 1, which ironically enough is probably the easiest one to find, and I don't have it yet. So that's the NES stuff there. Got a couple more games up here. I'll have to shut this light off again. Hopefully it doesn't get too dark, but I've got this kind of rotisserie thing here with Yoshi up there and How to Win at Nintendo Games book, and this actually spins, and I keep, you know, my black box NES games up here, so it's kind of cool to see, like, you know, all the 5-screw. Most of them are 5-screw anyway. Black box games. And then up here, got my challenge set. And in front of that is just a bunch of, you know, just cool display pieces, some figures and whatnot. So that's pretty much all the NES stuff. Moving down here though, grab my light again, we have my N64 stuff. I've got some pretty good complete N64 games. Got Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Castlevania, Conker's Bad Fur Day there. Not in the greatest shape, you know, it's missing the tabs on one of the ends of the box, but I'm still glad to have it complete in box. Donkey Kong 64, that paper label Zelda that I just got and showed in a video, excellent condition on that, and Ocarina of Time. Got Mario Golf down here, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party Mario Party 2, which I just recently got in the mail yesterday, I believe, complete in box. Pokemon Stadium 2. Another one of my gems is Snowboard Kids 2. Very happy to have that one. Excellent, excellent game. One of my favorites on the system. Super Mario 64, Super Smash Bros. Complete in box. And my Link figure here. So moving down here to kind of like the pride and joy of my collection, my complete in box, or at least boxed, Super Nintendo collection here. So I'm going to skim over these here. A lot of these came from that huge haul we got with like 100 complete in box games, all like in immaculate condition. That is still definitely the best find I've ever gotten in my life. Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3 there. Earthworm Jim 2, Eek the Cat, which I know is pretty hard to find. Gemfire is another hard one to find. Those are both complete in box there. That Jetsons game is actually really expensive too, complete in box. So is Joe and Mac. Killer Instinct with the CD in there. What else do we have down here? Zelda, complete in box with the map and everything. Another Mohawk and Headphone Jack, another very uncommon game. Phalanx, which I don't even have to show the box art for. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, I hope. Pirates of the Dark Water there. Ren and Stimpy Show Buckaroos. Missing a manual, but that was a Blockbuster exclusive, so that one's pretty hard to find as well. Here, pretty much all the Star Trek games. Star Fox, Street Fighter, Super Adventure Island. Very glad to have that one complete. Super Bomberman 2. My most recent addition, which I will actually take out and show, is this. A buddy I work with just gave me this box yesterday, and obviously I'm going to give him something as repayment for it, but that was very cool that he just gave it to me. He's looking out for a manual for this game, so if anyone has the manual, let me know. But down here, you know, my favorite game of all time, Super Metroid there, Super Troll Islands, Tecmo Secret of the Stars, actually factory sealed Tetris 2 there. And then just moving over here, I've had to start putting them over here because I'm running out of room on that shelf. But we got a sealed Williams Arcade's Greatest Hits there, and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Looking to upgrade that box eventually, but for now that'll work. And then down on the bottom, similar to my NES games over there, I keep these ones down here if they're, you know, just beat up boxes. A lot of them are sports games. A lot of them are missing inserts, like the cardboard inserts, so I don't really feel like I need to put a box protector on them and fully display them yet. So they're down there until I can upgrade them. And then up here is the rest of my Super Nintendo stuff. I don't know if you can see it back there behind Mario Paint, but that is a boxed system. We got a Bomberman 2 Super Famicom complete in box. That was like $5 on eBay. I couldn't believe that. Free shipping too from Japan. So Mario Paint. A couple of my better Super Nintendo games up here on this rack. Nothing too great, but skim over them quick anyway. And then all of my loose cart Super Nintendo games, which again, they're on alphabetical order, and yes, it's a pain, but it's definitely worth it when I'm trying to look for a game. So I'll skim over these fast because actually I keep a lot of my better games, loose cartridge, upstairs with the rest of my stuff. But anyway, down here, as we get to nearing the bottom here, I have these, which hopefully I'll be able to show. I keep these in these rental cases. They're my, some of the other better ones. Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3 there. We got Turtles in Time, Sunset Riders, Mega Man Soccer, Castlevania 4, and then this last one I believe is Contra 3. And I do have some other loose cartridges that I keep upstairs, so I'll show those at the end. A couple more posters on the wall up here. Twilight Princess, Iggy's Wrecking Balls, my complete in box original Game Boy there, with some Mega Man action out in front. My cow from Harvest Moon, Pikachu's back there. And then in here we have my Virtual Boy games. And actually all my Virtual Boy games are complete in box. I don't have any loose cartridges. The winner is probably that one right there, Mario's Tennis, which is a Blockbuster display box. I think that one's probably over $100 right now. Some Japanese ones too, Mario Tennis, they're Japanese, Panic Bomber Japanese, and Vertical Force Japanese. And a couple of my complete in box Game Boy games, which I've just recently started, getting into collecting a little more complete in box Game Boy games. We got DuckTales, Fist of the North Star. That's actually a sealed solitaire fun pack. Super Mario Land and Yoshi's Cookie. A couple Mario guys down here, and these are all my Nintendo Power magazines. Now, I only had a subscription to Nintendo Power for 1 year, which is where I got, that. It was GameCube era. So those are pretty much all those right there. And these older ones here are just stuff I got off eBay. They're always fun to look through. At least all like the posters in them and stuff too. I don't really plan on taking them out, but it's awesome that they're in there. And then down here is a bunch of my strategy guides and some other magazines, a bunch of electronic or gaming monthlies or whatever they're called, and a bunch of strategy guides here. Some pretty cool ones. I mean, I got like a Breath of Fire, Super Nintendo, Doom for Super Nintendo, Killer Instinct, Pokemon Yellow guide, a bunch of GameCube ones there. Some pretty good PS1 ones too. I got like Threads of Fate, Legend of Legaia, Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, which is a pretty expensive guide. So very happy to have those. And I think the last thing I need to show in here is my my GameCube collection up here on these shelves that I actually custom built for these GameCube games, or I guess any games with the same size cases. But we got a couple more posters down there, and my GameCube collection. Now I only collect Black Label GameCube games, and like 95% of these are complete. All the good ones are complete. We got Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles there. See if I can point out a couple of the other decent ones. Twilight, with a Wind Waker there. Still looking for Twilight Princess actually. Mario Kart, Mario Party 4 and 5. Both the Metroid games there. Paper Mario, Pikmin 1 and 2. Pokemon XD. Coming down here, we got Soul Calibur 2 there. Super Mario Sunshine, Tales of Symphonia, that one's pretty expensive as well. And then getting down here to my Wii games, I don't collect for the Wii either, but I love Guitar Hero way back when that was still popular, so I have all the Guitar Hero games. Also I have Smash Bros. Brawl, obviously, and I have Twilight Princess as well. And then some of these collector's editions, which, like I said, I don't collect for Wii, but these are cool to get anyway. I have a sealed Mario All-Stars back there behind the Kirby Dream Collection there, which I just recently got. Metroid Prime Trilogy back there, and I just recently got this as well. This GameCube Four Swords Adventures box set. So, see, finally over here, I'm going to take you guys over here now. This is pretty much when you see me take pictures and put them up on our Facebook. This is where I take them. This is like my shelf of doubles. So these are all doubles of NES games in my collection. And then there's doubles of those down here. All my doubles of doubles and quadruples, like the Dragon Warriors there. So this is really nothing you guys haven't seen before. Just figured I'd show it real quick. And while I'm down here, I might as well show over here. This is like the other half of my basement where my band practice is. Review shot of this stuff here. There's one of my guitars there, my amp, my drum set, got a PA over there, 16-track mixer there. All the rest of our guitars here. That's Dave's guitar amp there. So I just figured I'd give a quick overview shot of that. And finally, before I cut and go upstairs, I'm going to take you guys in here with what used to be my bathroom, but it kind of turned into my storage for all of my extra crap. So, I mean, it's kind of getting ridiculous. I mean, this used to be the shower in here, and now it's full of just crates and crates of adapters and controllers. Like that whole crate there is third-party controllers. All those back there are broken controllers. That whole box is full of adapters, NES and Super Nintendo controllers and adapters in that crate there. This one has all my first-party controllers. That whole box back there is systems. What else do we got in here? This is pretty much the stuff I'm trying to sell or on eBay right now. Bunch of extra manuals here and game inserts. More Mario games than anyone could ever want. Just a mountain of NES systems there. See, a box of stuff I'm planning to give to Ryan. Some random cases and whatnot back there. And then all these flat rate boxes here are just full of like N64 systems and PS2 systems and everything. So, as you can see, I mean, it looks like a mess and it looks like I'm kind of like a hoarder, but I mean, really, this stuff moves, it goes in and out. You know, this hasn't been sitting in here forever. I'm constantly getting rid of stuff and bringing new stuff in. So, one more time, I just want to go out here and just give a quick overview shot of my entire game room. And I'm actually going to cut right now and head upstairs and show you guys just the remains of my collection that really doesn't fit down here and some of my more expensive stuff. So, let's go. Okay, so up here is where I keep a lot of my stuff that simply doesn't fit downstairs, mainly system boxes and whatnot. So over here I have my Virtual Boy, and that actually is complete inside of that Blockbuster carry case there, and I have another Virtual Boy head out front there. My Wii box, got a couple Game Boy carrying cases here on top of an NES storage center there, which is on top of the power pad, and you can barely see it down there, but that is the dance pad for Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix on the GameCube. And speaking of GameCubes, a black GameCube that I just got, and NES carry case there. But coming over to the closet that I was speaking of downstairs, up top we have 4 sets of Donkey Konga bongos for the GameCube, alongside a couple Super Advantage controllers in the box. And up there is the box for that Model 1 Sega CD that I showed downstairs. But that box Model 2 Sega CD below it is actually complete in there, along with that Genesis and one of these Master Systems. The other Master System is the one you saw hooked up downstairs, but they're different models, so I figured I might as well keep both of them. So coming down here, we got a couple of the Guitar Hero bundles for the Wii, which I got at the midnight releases, and my Complete in Box NES Action set here to go along with that challenge set downstairs. Got the box U-Force there, got a Super Scope, Sega Menacer, the Sega Genesis Activator down there in the box, my Platinum Metroid Prime GameCube bundle on top of a couple PS1 systems complete in the box there, and just some random storage cases there for Dreamcast and GameCube and Xbox for Day poster that I got at GameStop. But anyway, over here is where I keep a lot of my more expensive games. I'm sure you guys remember the Wild Guns here box that I got in that huge Super Nintendo haul. Missing a manual on this one, so I am looking out for that. But this one is complete in box. Hagane, obviously for the Super Nintendo there. Probably the most expensive game in my collection. And another very expensive game here for the Saturn is Magic Knight Ray Earth. And I just keep those 3 up here just because, you know, they're so expensive. I'm a little more protective of those ones. But down here, some of my loose cartridge Super Nintendo games that are more expensive that I don't feel like displaying downstairs, once again, because I'm a little more protective of them. But got all the Mega Mans there, with the exception of Mega Man Soccer, which was downstairs. Both Breath of Fire games, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Castlevania Dracula X, Secret of Mana. Got both Lufia games there, Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, Harvest Moon, Demon's Crest, Final Fight 2, 3, and Rock and Roll Racing. And finally, in this very last drawer down here, I have most of my sealed games. I have a couple sealed games downstairs, but for the most part they're up here. Some PlayStation 1 games there, and some sealed Dreamcast games actually. A couple sealed homebrew Dreamcast games. There's a GameCube game there, Caesar's Palace for the Game Gear, Gravatar for the 2600, some Genesis games back there, a CPU Bach for the 3DO, like a music creator, and then finally this guy here, Shining Force 3 for the Saturn, which honestly I'm not sure if it's factory sealed or not. It is sealed, I just don't know if it's factory sealed. I got it in a box protector. I don't really intend on ever opening it, just in case, you know. So anyway, that last drawer there does conclude the room tour. So I want to say thank you guys for sticking around and checking out the whole video. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, take care.